Man, I'm excited about this one for sure. I have the pleasure of reviewing a brand new product, something the FGC has been in need of.
Here comes a new challenger!
Some competition in the control board arena. So whether you're building a custom fight stick or modding an existing one, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Today we're looking at the BitBang Gaming ZeroKO, a new entry in the arcade control board space, and an underdog with, dare I say it, knockout features. Hey, I'm Craw. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. And if it's a return trip, thanks for coming back. Here you'll find reviews, tutorials, and DIY projects aimed at helping you get the most out of your battle station. With that taken care of, let's get it poppin'. As always, full disclosure, the ZeroKO board I'm reviewing is a prototype provided by Joe over at BitBang Gaming. It's a pre-production board that's been loaned to me for this video. Upon completion of the testing, the board was returned to BitBang, and these arrangements in no way affect my review. The ZeroKO has the same footprint as the Brook Zero Pi board, and mounts in a similar fashion. I was able to swap this in an existing custom stick with the Buttercade Caddy. The board requires slightly more bottom clearance, but all the wiring fit fine underneath it on the Caddy. Since a comparison's already been made, we'll continue to compare and contrast the Brook offering to this board, but rest assured, it's not a clone, and the differences outweigh the similarities by a large margin. The ZeroKO supports PC in the form of X input, D input, and HID. Console support comes in the way of PS, PS2, and PS3 in the Sony camp, and N64, GameCube, and Switch in the Nintendo camp. The GameCube support also makes this a viable option for the Wii when using the GameCube ports. The obvious omissions are the Microsoft consoles, the 360, the Xbox One, and the Series X. Also absent are the newest two Sony offerings, the PS4 and the PS5. These consoles require a bypass of authentication and will be addressed in the upcoming Double KO board. Stick around and we'll cover all the unique features that make this board a standout, and even a late edition that came just as I was starting to give this thing the once over. This board is fresh and catching features in real time. BitBang has an active Discord, and Joe, the owner, will add requested features if they fall within the parameters of the board's capabilities. There's even 2 expansion ports for future hardware add-ons, things like analog joysticks, reactive LEDs, controller feed-through adapters, OLED displays, touchpads, SOCD and SACD cleaners, wireless adapters, and more. Joe might even interface your coffee maker if you ask him nicely. If at least one of these features doesn't get you excited, you might need a pulse check. This board will have an MSRP of $59.95, which is slightly double the price of a Zero Pi, but as you'll see, there's enough features to offset that price difference. We'll start with the additional console support. If you're in the Nintendo camp, the addition of N64, GameCube, and Wii support is great. Don't forget Switch support too. Even as a PC gamer, I still find myself getting down on the Switch when I can wrestle it away from my kids. During the testing, I found myself playing Double Dragon on the Switch NES emulator, and nostalgia never felt better. Then there's the PC support, which honestly is why we're here. Going beyond the X input recognition, there's D input and HID. HID allows support for up to 32 buttons, obviously more than the board has inputs for, but that leaves plenty of room for growth and customization. This board is a great controller for playing emulators on PC or Pi also. But now it's time to really buckle down and look at the features that make this a next level addition to any fight stick or custom controller. Not a joystick player, you say? All button controllers are the future, you say? Then you'll be pleased to know that BitBang built in their very own Magician's SOCD cleaner, all 16 modes, and the ability to switch on the fly. Nothing basic about this cleaner. I also spoke of a feature that was added as I was receiving the board. This board contains none other than the Buttercade antagonist. Right in there, just add a button and you're good. Seriously, it's just built right in. The antagonist allows a button to reverse the joystick, making charge characters a breeze. It's a cool feature, but a demo is beyond the scope of my coverage, so I'll leave a link to a video from my man Johnny Fraze over on his channel. Make sure you check it out. Another standout feature of this board is the ability to add a shift button. This opens up the ability to eliminate some extra buttons and clean up your case. Finally, if you really want a custom stick, and who doesn't, stop it. Custom Fightstick. Fightstick. The next feature is a game changer. A lot of the electronics on this board are mounted to the bottom, leave a large center area that's lit with programmable LEDs, and comes with an acrylic sheet that can be laser etched or have artwork applied directly to it. Custom artwork right on the control board, and custom LEDs on the board too. Yes please. The board I reviewed was, as stated, a pre-production model and didn't have the acrylic, but I did set the LEDs via dip switches, and they are bright. This is an exciting feature for builders for sure. Then there's the features we've come to expect. Plug for the left stick D-pad right stick switch, plug for player LEDs, another great BitBang product, and a plug for a turbo button and LED. There's a plug for R3, L3, and TPK, which is touchpad key. There's no PS4 support, but Steam supports PS4 controllers. This should still be a mappable button in a lot of games. There's also a plug for a tournament lock switch, a better option than a button combo to lock your stick. The switch allows you to physically check that you're tournament ready. Then there's the 3 auxiliary buttons for future features. There's technically 4, but one is already home to the Buttercade antagonist. There's also a powered lever port for things like the Odin. That about summarizes this control board. If you're finding value, make sure you subscribe for more, hit that like button, and ring the bell so you don't miss future content. I spent a little over a week with this board and hit it with some pretty heavy play sessions. I ran through my Steam library and played some Street Fighter V, Tekken 7, Skullgirls, and Killer Instinct. It played very smooth and snappy. The board was very responsive to even my mashiest combos. I even went full mash on a Switch session that included some Kill la Kill and too many hours of Double Dragon. I even received a couple firmware updates along the way, all this with no disconnects or issues. I think I've gone on long enough about what makes this board so great, but there are a few things that could be better. Updating the firmware was a little confusing, and I got lost following the manual and couldn't locate the firmware online for download. I do suspect the website will have the latest firmware when the board launches. I had to contact Joe about getting the board updated. It wasn't so much the process as it was getting through the instructions. Nothing that won't be sorted out though, I'm sure. It would also be nice if there were button combos to change from left stick to D-pad or right stick. I know there's a port to add a switch, but for a guy who likes a minimal custom stick, this would be a great option. The acrylic plate is one of my favorite features also, but since it has a large logo behind it, I don't know how etched or edgelit artwork will look. The light might be enough to light the art, not the background, but I'll have to wait and find out. Lastly, to switch the shift button to a ground requires soldering. Maybe jumpers instead of soldering would make this board a little more accessible for more folks. I don't mind soldering tiny things, but some people might. It's defaulted to shift, so unless you find yourself at a loss for places to ground stuff, you most likely will never need to change this. Those things are minor, but still worth noting. They're based on my taste to an extent, but by no means deal breakers. There are so many positives to position this board above the ZeroKO, it easily justifies the price difference. If you want a basic zero delay board that's not Amazon junk, the ZeroKO is a viable option. If you want a top tier delay board with next level features, then ZeroKO is easily worth the price. I absolutely recommend this board and can't wait to get my hands on a production board to build with. My biggest complaint is that the time with this board was so short. It was really a joy. Since we're on the topic of choices, please don't underestimate the power this board gives to us, the consumers. I've been building sticks for years now, and Brook has been the only game in town for a while. I have and will continue to use Brook products, but having viable options forces manufacturers to innovate and helps keep pricing in line. BitBang Gaming is just what we need in the custom controller space. I'm excited to have options and can't wait to see the Double KO and Nostalgia boards. Don't forget to check the links for product info and other relevant information. In the meantime, I'll be patiently waiting for my chance to build with the ZeroKO of my own. Until next time.
Game over.